The mob hitman has always been a key player in the dramatic history of organized crime. Bob O'Brien takes a look at some of the so-called made men, men who murdered their way to the top and often to graves of their own.
Some found it almost poetic that Carmine Galenti, the man known as the cigar to his friends in the mob, was blown away with a Monte Cristo clenched between his teeth. At the time of the 1979 hit in the rear garden of Joe and Mary's restaurant in Bushwick, Brooklyn, Galenti was the boss of bosses of the New York mob. He got there because of his fearsome reputation for solving his family problems by brute force. Galenti was arrested back in 1930 for killing a cop in Brooklyn. He beat that rap, but 4 months later was wounded himself as he shot a detective and 2 children during a robbery. In 1943, Galenti is believed to have gained even wider respect and repute by assassinating Carlo Tresca, an anti-fascist newspaperman. He imported hitmen from Italy in 1974 for an unsuccessful attempt to depose Carlo Gambino. Gambino later died of natural causes. Galenti did not. Police department files contain reams of mugshots of former mob button men who ended up as targets of other hitmen. Chief of Detectives James Sullivan says a few well-placed bullets have always been respected credentials for a mobster on the rise.
Doesn't being a hitman or having been a hitman put a limit to your life expectancy?
Frequently it does. The hitman, knowing so much of what he does concerning what's going on in the organization and who did what to whom, is himself in jeopardy, and frequently he gets killed as a result of what he knows to keep him from revealing that to authorities.
So it's a guess perhaps, but an educated one. Why do they do it?
Because they want to ingratiate themselves into the hierarchy within the organization. That's the primary reason. They get repaid for that with a pretty good living.
In the 40s and 50s, Albert Anastasia murdered his way to the top of the Bonanno mafia family. But in 1957, 5 gunmen ended the life of Murder Incorporated's chief executive officer as he sat in a barber's chair in the Park Sheraton Hotel. Sometime later, Crazy Joey Gallo boasted that he and 4 of his friends should be known as the Barbershop Quintet. That started the war between the Gallo family and that headed by Joe Colombo. A year later, a Gallo hitman's bullet put Colombo into a coma that lasted until Colombo died 7 years after being shot. Joey Gallo himself caught a fatal dose of lead poisoning at Umberto's Clam House a year after the Colombo hit. Many a mobster who has tried climbing the ladder within a crime family by being a hitman has found that the top rung leads directly to the basement in the city morgue. Bob O'Brien, Channel 5 News.